Ready?
Yep.
Hello, welcome back to 2 Minute Drill with Johnny.
Big cry.
And Cole.
Yeah, so I think we got a pretty good episode lined up today, talking about the college football playoff, kind of analyzing that stuff. So I think we're just focusing on college today, right, boys?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'll kick us
Yeah.
off with just kind of giving us the overall bracket if our viewers already know. So in the one spot with the first bye overall, obviously going to Oregon, number 1 seed.
Yeah.
No surprise
Well deserved,
there.
12-0.
Yeah.
Yep. Only undefeated
Undefeated.
team.
Only undefeated team. No surprise there. Conference champs. Everything. Yep.
Yep.
In the number 2 spot, winning the SEC championship, huge game, is Georgia.
Yeah.
Yep.
No
I think
surprise
that's-
there. I mean, just really good team overall. I mean, a little bit crazy to think like just with this new bracket that a team with 2 losses is still getting a bye.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Crazy.
crazy. I mean, if you would have told somebody that. 10 years
And
ago,
didn't they just lose to?
they lost
Georgia
to
Tech,
Ole Miss.
Yeah,
right?
No, they beat
No,
Georgia
yeah,
Tech
they
in
beat Georgia
overtime.
Tech.
Oh yeah, that's
It
right.
was
They
like
lost
Ole
to
Miss,
Ole Miss.
to the wire.
Yeah.
Not recently, but yeah,
Not
they
recently.
did.
Yeah, they lost to Ole Miss and
Yep.
Yeah.
And it had super close game with Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
really good
So
game.
they just kind of skated by into that bye slot, which is pretty, and got an SEC championship, which is pretty nuts
Yeah.
to think about. But I'm happy for them regardless. And yeah, it's gonna be good to see them play.
And then Boise State
Boise State with
in the 3.
3.
Yeah, no surprise.
That's
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
actually,
I mean-
well, no, wait, I misspoke. I mean, it's they're not like the third best team in
Yeah.
this college football bracket at all.
I
But
totally
I
agree
mean,
with
just
that.
due to the way it works, I mean, I don't think there's any other way to seed it. I agree.
Yeah.
No.
It's the correct way to do
I
it.
mean,
They were the 9, but
yeah.
I-
Their whole
with the
team
conference
is their whole
championship.
team's genty.
yeah.
I mean, if he has a bad game, Boise
Yeah, they're
State's
definitely-
not going anywhere.
He
I don't
has to
think-
have a bad game, and that Boise State O line doesn't get enough.
I don't
They're
think
pretty
I
good.
see them. I don't think I see them getting a win in the playoffs this year.
I don't know.
Okay, well, they're
They
they're
played
against,
good. Like
if
UNLV
SMU
is not a
wins,
bad team
if
at all.
SMU wins,
SMU is not beating Penn State at Penn State.
I
know.
In-state
And
college
whiteout.
whiteout game.
I
Whiteout.
agree, and I don't. But Boise State gets a home game after
Yeah, that's
Penn
true.
State, and
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
you're right.
And
Yeah.
that's West Coast and East Coast.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
Penn State's not going to travel.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, they're gonna go from whiteout to the Smurf turf, and that
Mhm.
that is huge.
Two
Yeah.
very tough
Like
places
that's
to play.
like
Yeah.
you go from the best
SMU and win that
environment you
game.
could ever play in for yourselves to like one of the hardest to play in.
Yeah.
I mean that this year especially that I mean
Those fans
Boise is
Gianti's-
really
yeah.
Gianti's
football
150 away from the record. Like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
getting
it's gonna
it.
be
Like,
rocking.
yeah.
It's gonna be-
Everybody's gonna be wanting to see him
Yeah.
break it and possibly get a win.
Yeah. Anyways,
Crazy.
Arizona State gets the
Yeah.
4.
the fourth.
I like
Big
that
12
running.
win.
Yeah, I like that running back, Cameron Setebo.
Mhm.
I can't really pronounce his last name, but he's
Skidebo.
a
Skidebo.
stud. 2
Yeah,
touchdowns
he's a
against
stud,
Iowa
well said.
State, 170
Crazy.
yards. I mean,
For
That's
sure.
like how many? That's like 7 yards a carry or
Yeah.
something. More than that, sorry.
he's solid.
Yeah.
10
Really
yards a
solid.
carry.
Yeah, I mean when you have a guy that efficient, it's hard to lose games really.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And he's a hard worker too. Talking about how the Heisman, how he thinks he should be in the Heisman
Yeah.
conversation. I mean,
For
like,
sure, you love you see a guy
Yeah,
get after it
he-
like him, like
and he
he's-
believes in himself, which I like that too.
Yeah.
Just like
for sure.
really behind himself, making him play good.
Yeah. So now we got the 5 through 8 seeds. So these are all teams that did not get the bye, but they all do get a home game. And so,
Yeah.
start us off. We got the 5 seed. We got Texas.
Texas, no doubt there.
No doubt there. I mean,
6 seed Penn State.
killing loss to Georgia in overtime.
Yeah, but you could definitely see them, or I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
can-
mean
they're gonna
like-
sweep Clemson. They're gonna
I think they're-
kill
yeah.
Arizona State.
I mean, They have a really good bracket.
Road to the
Yeah, dude, that's
championship.
I
'Cause
think
they're-
I 100% like Texas route better
final.
than the Georgia route.
I like
Georgia has
Texas.
to play Notre Dame or
I like
Indiana.
Texas. Maybe I like Texas's route. Maybe the best in the bracket for the 4 teams. Like
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Texas
4
could be
sides.
the number 1 or 2 team in the country right now.
that
I think they're good
100%
enough to
agree.
be
100%.
the 1 or 2 seed.
Well,
And-
yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
If they win
If they
win that
won their-
game in
yeah.
overtime, I mean, yeah, they're the 2.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, it's not like they lost that game. But I mean, it was
Yeah.
an overtime game. I mean,
It
that
was a tough game.
classic. That was a classic SEC championship.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Great game.
Penn State, looking at like how good they are, if they can play to what they're capable of, they probably have the easiest road to the final 4 teams in this college football playoff bracket.
Agreed.
But Texas, you could argue, also does. So
I think Texas
they
for
have-
sure.
They have high hopes. I
If
have
I
hopes for them.
see, I think a Texas Oregon State semi game would be an
Yeah.
absolute movie.
I think Texas is a little bit better than Penn State, and so I think
I agree
I
with that,
agree.
too. I agree with
think that Texas is just gonna they're for sure gonna go to the Final Four unless ASU puts on a performance, which they did against Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean they can
I
do
still
it.
don't.
No.
I still don't see them. I don't think Iowa State and Texas are even. I think
mean,
they're
even-
3 tiers
Yeah,
apart.
that's
Like
fair. That's
it's
fair.
a Big 12 versus a top 2 SEC,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good analysis there.
and then
then
Notre Dame with their
Notre
kind
Dame
of
versus
bounce
Indiana.
back
That's gonna
season.
be that's the best game this week. That's gonna be a great
I think
game.
that I agree with that.
That's gonna be a
yeah,
really
that's
good.
first thing I said when I was watching the selection show is, wow, that's gonna be a game.
That's a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
And they're both seeded regular season higher than their seeds in the playoffs.
Yeah.
A 5 and an 8.
Good
That's
shout.
a
I was gonna point
terrible
that
draw
out.
for both those teams. They're gonna battle it out.
Yeah. It's gonna be
It'll
really
be a
interesting to like,
great game.
because you see one team that is probably a little underappreciated in Indiana. Like, I mean, with some like dominant
Gets knocked
victories,
a lot
gets knocked
about
a lot,
their
gets
strength
critiqued.
of schedule.
Yeah. And then you see Notre Dame
Plays everyone and
I mean,
wins by a few points every time.
wins by a few points every time.
Their only dropped
huge-
game was a
was the
NI
first game of the season to the, like,
NIU.
NIU,
and
which
it wasn't. It was a
bananas.
fluke win.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
So
you could.
it's-
I see them as a top 4 team.
And so
I can see that. too.
honestly, this
It's gonna be a great game
this
though.
game could go anywhere.
Yep. Their
Or-
offense, both offenses, so
Or
explosive.
yeah, exactly.
And the wide receiver matchup for Notre Dame versus Indiana's secondary is gonna be great. Indiana's secondary is awesome.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. And then on to which was probably the most controversial. No, not the most. We'll talk about that later. The most controversial thing with SMU and Alabama, but with huge killer for Tennessee here was getting a 9 seed and Ohio State getting an 8 seed. I mean, that literally determines like the fate of your season right there is Ohio State getting a home game and you having to go travel there. It's not a far road. It's not a far travel to get to Columbus, but when you're playing in that stadium, Ohio State at home's an incredibly hard team to beat. I mean, so that I know that when I was watching the selection show, I mean that just Ohio State was, I mean, rather elated to get that pick.
Yeah, and Will Howard really gonna have to turn it around after that last game. Threw a couple bad interceptions. So I think, I really think it's gonna be who plays better at quarterback in that game.
Yeah.
Nico
This is-
Lalamy or
And
Will Howard.
Tennessee is 2-2 in their conference. I mean,
Yeah,
in the SEC.
This- Yeah, that's not great. But,
Yeah.
This is gonna be really like not. I mean, I guess you could say redemption, but this is a huge game for Ryan Day's career going forward at Ohio State. If he drops this, the seat just gets as
Hotter.
hot as it could ever be.
And who knows with
At home,
Ohio State losing to Michigan last week? Who knows if they lose
I
this
mean,
game?
who knows?
I mean, I have Ohio State going and then playing Oregon, which is gonna be another great game. But who knows?
I mean it's gonna be a ball game also. I mean I just love that it's 12 teams now and it's so
It's
exciting.
awesome, yeah.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean you have
it's
great
giving me like
games.
March Madness.
Yeah,
type of stuff.
exactly. Yeah, it's like a little March Madness.
Yeah.
Jitters.
Little March Madness,
Yeah.
like a littler bracket.
Yeah.
But if it's football. I mean,
Yeah.
For sure.
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
For
I'm
sure.
excited.
And so, obviously, now we'll talk about first team out, Alabama. I mean, big surprises there. I mean, just with Alabama being the storied program that they are. But, I mean,
And especially, they usually make it with the 4-team
never- I
playoff.
mean,
Saban's
and
gotta
now,
be crying right
now
now.
they go
smiling
to push
enough.
it back to 12, and then they don't get in.
So you tell that to somebody last year, and they're like,
No way.
12 teams, Alabama's going to make it every year from now on. In the
Yeah.
first year,
First year,
it's a
they don't make
12-team
it.
playoff, Alabama's going to make it. I mean,
You
do
were.
believe
I
that?
mean, we were thinking last year that it was unfair because all these SEC teams were gonna rule it, but there's only how many? 1, 2, 3 SEC teams.
Yeah,
That's
3.
crazy.
3,
3.
Right?
Clemson.
1, 2,
Tennessee,
3.
Clemson, Georgia.
Georgia.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
Texas.
crazy.
Texas, sorry.
Yeah.
Texas.
Tennessee, Clemson, Texas, Georgia. 4.
Yeah, so 4.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was right. But
Yeah.
it's, I mean, that kind of like ties into the new like seeding method with the conference championships
Yeah.
and stuff.
Definitely.
And I don't dislike it. And honestly, it's honestly pretty suiting for this year because there was some crazy losses in the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
A lot of teams dropped a lot of games.
A lot of games.
We're not going to see much conference shift anymore, though.
Yeah.
Because
No,
these Big 12
no.
teams are going to want to stay in the Big
Because
12.
they
Yeah.
know that they can win, like Oregon. Why would they?
Everyone
why
was-
would
yeah.
they lose?
Everyone was talking crap about the Pac-12, but let's think about it. The Pac-12 teams are winning the divisions
Winning
right now.
divisions.
Oregon, I mean,
Mm.
USC just had a great game with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shout out to I just want to shout out a player on USC. I mean, Jacoby Lane, what a good season he played. He was just dominant, and I kind of wanted USC to make the playoffs. and
Yeah,
just
that
be
would've
like
been
a
great.
cool 12 seed because I think they had upset potential.
Yeah,
100%, yeah.
But
for sure.
But yeah, it's gonna be really exciting to see like what some of these teams do. Like you might have an unexpected win in Tennessee,
Yeah,
like
anything can happen.
anything could happen. It's same thing as like March. I mean, I don't want to make the comparison again, but it's like March Madness. Anything can happen. Like you could have, I mean, or better yet, like having one of the teams with a bye lose to like a team who just got like let's say
an
Indiana.
11 seed. Like
Yeah.
Ohio State when they played Oregon, that was
the
like a
best,
1 and 2
like-
battle, and now it's a 1 versus 11 battle. So
Yeah.
you just don't know. Don't know what's
would've-
gonna happen.
You would have never thought that Arizona State would be in a playoffs
Oh,
if I told you
my
a year
goodness.
ago or 2 years ago.
Boise State too. SMU.
Well, yeah.
Never
Are you
think
No.
those
like,
those
it's
3
crazy.
teams.
Yeah.
It's just
would
like
ever
like,
be. Indiana even too could get it.
I mean,
They've been
yeah.
mediocre the last
Yeah.
5 years.
I would have thought you were kidding me. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like SMU. I really just I think it's so interesting. Like I just want to know like exactly what the committee was thinking. I mean,
they're a
couldn't-
good team.
They're a great team, and I mean you could argue it either way that Alabama deserves to be in this and is a lot more of a contender against especially against a
They
team like Penn
dropped
State.
too many games regular
Yeah.
season to
Too
be
many.
in the
I
playoffs.
mean, they didn't earn it like SMU did.
And I
Regardless, that I think Alabama is actually the better football team, but I think
100%,
do
yeah,
too.
but they didn't
but
earn it.
they didn't
Yeah.
earn it.
I think they would go way farther. They would
Yeah.
in the playoffs. They're a playoff team.
100%.
They're going
Yeah.
farther than SMU.
yeah,
But
and they're
didn't earn it.
contending. They're keeping the score closer.
yeah,
Or
Yeah,
like,
I agree, and I just think the committee knew that they were gonna get backlash
Oh,
from it,
would've
and
been endless.
I love
It
how
would've
they
been
just
endless.
like stood with what they thought
Yeah.
because they could have easily been like, we don't want to take all the hate, put Alabama in for everybody, and
Yeah.
then they just stick with it.
Yeah.
Stick with
SEC
stick with
hate, yeah.
the team that had played better.
They were getting backlash either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
And I think that like I mean of course you see the Alabama fans all over the media just going
Yeah.
nuts, but I think SMU was the right choice.
I agree.
really do.
yep.
And I don't-
After Alabama dropped the Oklahoma game, that's
That's
gotta
when
be
this
it.
went downhill.
Yep.
We want to start going through who we think are gonna win these games.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Real quick.
So I'll start it off with the Tennessee Ohio State. I think it's gonna be a really good game. As I said, I think it's gonna be a battle of which quarterback plays better. I mean, Will Howard when he's playing 100%, one of the best quarterbacks in college football, I think. So I think Ohio State will win this and play against Oregon.
Yeah. We're here. Let's just do first round.
Yeah.
We're a little
First
short on time,
round.
But I mean, Ohio State getting that bid at home, huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huge for the program.
Tennessee has to travel.
Tennessee has to travel, not a far road, like I said. But playing Ohio State at home, you that's not a game they lose often. If they do, that puts Ryan Day in a tough spot, and the Ohio State program
He's fighting for his
in a tough
job.
spot.
Yeah.
So, with that said, regardless of what you think of Ohio State dropping some games, I think Ohio State's winning. I think they're winning. I think
Good
Oregon
point,
Ohio
yeah.
State might be a classic football game. It might be such a good game.
I agree. I think Oregon's just gonna win because I want to see Oregon versus Ohio State.
I do too.
Yeah.
I want to see a rematch of that game that just happened
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. On to we'll go here. Let's go down
Clemson,
the bracket.
Texas.
Clemson, Texas. I mean, not much to say here besides Texas Longhorns are debatably the top 3 team in the country.
Top 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
And
They're
so
solid.
I think they beat Oregon.
I mean, you think they beat Oregon?
I think so, yeah. I think
Yeah.
so. I think it's going to be an SEC matchup.
I
don't know.
I think so too.
I don't know. But regardless,
They walk.
Texas is walking.
Yeah, I think
ASU is upset potential for
Yeah.
Texas. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Then we got SMU, Penn State. I mean, regardless, I think SMU could be upset potential, but I think
Penn State will get it too.
I think it's going to be a good game, but I think Penn State gets it in the end.
hard to lose a whiteout, a Penn State whiteout. I mean, that is
100%,
that is
yeah,
the most
and